So, guys, welcome to the Court Aura podcast. As you know, my name is Satveer Kaur, and I'm your host. So, I had to start off the second series doing it with this beautiful being that I met really early on in my journey, and then we've worked it out, haven't we, Kiki? That we've known each other for at least 3 years.
3 years.
How
Yes.
crazy! Like that just seems crazy. Like it seems so not long because I feel like we're just so connected. Like I've known you for a lot more. Like the way I've
I
opened
agree.
up to you, I haven't opened up to anybody ever. So
I
I call you a Kiki, but Kiki's going to introduce herself. Just give us your name, background, a bit about you, and then we'll start from there.
Okay, so my name is Shakia Hill, but I go by Kiki. Actually, I don't go by Kiki. Only people I'm from Kansas in America, and
Yeah.
only people from back home call me Kiki, but it feels natural for Sat to
Yeah.
call me Kiki. So let's put that out there.
That's
But
true.
again, my name is Shakia Hill. I live in Greenville, Texas in America, and I'm a 41-year-old female, obviously, who is a mental health caseworker. And I met Sat at a particular point in my journey in life that was much needed, and it was a godsend. And we've been connected ever since then. And we'll get into our journey, things that we've been through later in the podcast. But I'm just a friend from afar from her, and I love her to death. And I'm happy that this podcast is popping off, and hopefully, we bring you guys lots of interesting and helpful information.
Yeah, 100%. Just thank you so much. And like I said, guys, so in my previous series, Kiki, I was like doing it on my own hosting, but the plan was for my second series to have a co host, but that didn't work out.
Hmm.
But since meeting you, things changed. And I was like, you know what, Kiki, we could do this together. Like,
Why
do you know what I
not?
mean? Exactly. So this is going forward, guys, just to let you know, as much as I have episodes like with other people from the community, local, nearby, doing things, people that have like overcome stuff. Kiki is going to be a regular. So she's going to be here on, yeah,
Yay.
more than
Maybe
just
my
this.
face won't be as puffy on other episodes as well. Sorry, guys. I'm looking rough.
Stop. So you're going to see Kiki a lot more. This episode is just to kind of introduce Kiki, just introduce a bit of how we met. How we met because I was in my healing journey, overcoming a few things still early on.
And I
But
was
then,
deep in my pit.
and then
Very deep.
the way we kind of cross paths, it's honestly, it's just
It was nothing but
universe.
divine intervention.
100%. Do you want to explain
Sure.
how what you were going
So,
through as well?
yeah, so it's a little embarrassing. We both are kind of embarrassed by it. But we were on a gossip forum, actually, like a kind of a ghetto gossip forum.
But
I
so
hate to say
useful.
it was very useful and it was very useful in finding out information and keeping up with celebrities and gossip. But they also had a portion on the gossip forum where you could do an ask me anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask me anything because I was deep in an addiction. And I figured there had to be more people. There's millions of people on that. I know that there was millions of people on that site. And so I figured there had to be someone on there either going through what I was going through or had a family member that they didn't understand. And so I didn't ask me anything saying, hey, I'm addicted to opiates and I have been for the last 10 years. I can't get out of it. Ask me anything. And lo and behold, Sat was on there that day at that time and saw it. And that's how we connected. She basically swooped in and was like, DM me, personal message me. And I personal messaged her and it was God's gift that I did. And she told me a lot about her journey and what she had been through. I'll leave that for you to tell.
Yeah.
But you know, I was able to connect with her on a level that I've never connected with anyone in this world before because of the lows that you hit when you're deep in an addiction. Unless you've been through it, you can't understand it. And Sat understood it. And it made us become friends. And then we had so much more in common. We had some of the same visions and views in life. And like she said, our faith was a big part of both of our lives. And we
Yeah.
just connected in a way that I just can't explain.
Yeah,
But
so
that's how
much.
we met. Not to go off on a tangent. That's how we met was in a gossip forum and me reaching out saying, hey, I'm stuck in this addiction. Ask me anything. And she swooped in and was like, you can get through this. I beat it. You can get through this.
Yeah.
And that's when my journey began to come out of the addiction. I now have over 2 years clean.
Woo! Thank you, God. It's so good. Like, seriously. And that's what I mean. How we met, it was just how The
It was
likelihood,
pure fate.
100%. And it was God put us together for a reason. And look at the similar paths we were on.
Hmm.
Because and imagine on that forum, you could go through so many different sections of
Hundreds.
anything. So for me
Yes.
to see yours, and it spoke to me, something inside was like, had to reply. I didn't even think about it. I just knew I had to. Oh my gosh, there's someone's going through this, do that.
And the crazy thing is, other people, to make it clear, other people reached out to me, other people personal messaged me, but none of the connection was like with Sat. That's why I say it was like it was a God thing that we connected the way we did because there were other nice people out there offering help and advice and support, but me and Sat just connected on a different level, and it's something I can't explain.
Me neither. And I think as well, I needed you as well. So God kind of put us together for a reason. So as much as I was on that healing path of helping, I still needed that support from someone that got it. Because I hadn't up until I met you, Kiki. I'd never met anybody that had got it. I could never
Yeah,
voice my truth, and
the
without
dark and ugly side of it.
yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, without being judged. And this was
right.
like so hard. So when I met you, and then we just started, and then finding out our similarities, so much to the point that Real Housewives, and we would watch it, we're fans of it, and then we'd go on the forum to get other people's opinions, and that,
Yes,
that was like a trend I thought I only did, but when you said you did it as
right.
well, I was like, we're so similar. Just the way our lives, how us even reaching those sad states that we got ourselves in, which is so similar. Do you know what I mean? And it was
Hmm.
really, I think I definitely needed you because the amount of voice notes we then sent, it was constant. Finding like, it was like we found, it was like a new relationship in that way, when you meet
Yeah,
someone.
I
but,
agree.
but it was. But yeah, so that's how we met. And it was from then on, it was like we needed each other for that support.
Hmm.
And it was like we only got each other. Nobody else got it for me personally.
Right, I
I
agree. And the
Yeah, and
distance didn't matter, the
yeah,
differences didn't matter. All that mattered was what was in common and that we were there for each other.
yeah. And we were able to really voice it because I really revealed stuff that, like you said, I'd never explained it the way I was
And that
able
I
to
never thought that I would tell anyone. I thought I would go to my
Yeah.
grave with some things.
Yeah, the same, yeah. But we felt that safe with each other, and that
Hmm.
like I don't know, that's why it was God sent, and it is. And I know that I can still reach out. Like we're still here supporting one another
Hmm.
because that journey that we're on is still not over, guys. Like it's a struggle
Every day.
every day. And it takes that. So support is massive. So that is key as well, which I always say to people, as much as it is down to yourself to make those changes, the right support is key. What we're setting up now with this podcast, it is because of that. We would never turn anyone down, even if it's out of our remit and we can't offer you the support that you're looking for. We will help you find that
Find the
support.
support.
Yeah,
Yes.
because for someone to even reach out for that support is a massive thing because people keep it hidden. And that's what I did for a long time. I suppressed how I was feeling.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have the courage to find that support, do you?
Yeah, it's difficult.
So there were a few things I want to speak about your journey. Sorry, guys,
Okay.
I've wrote a few notes because I do go off on a tangent a bit and digress. So it's just to find out a bit more about your story, Kiki, if that's all right.
Okay. No
Just so
problem.
people get to know about you moving forward then with our other episodes. Kiki, how you decided that you wanted to make those changes because you'd hit a low. What was it that kind of made you think, I've got to change shit up? Like, did you?
I think
Mm,
I think that's kind of easy to answer. I was at a point where I didn't want to live anymore because I was so frustrated with starting over every day. Every day was like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is the last day I'm doing this. But then I would find myself the next day in the same situation. I'm not doing this anymore. And then the next day, doing it again. I'm not doing this anymore. And it just got so frustrating and I felt so defeated. It was like getting hard to live. You know, um, Everything around me was in destruction. My self esteem was at an all time low. My relationships were hanging on by a thread with other people. And it was like, it just felt very hard to live. It felt very heavy and very hard to live. And I would never commit suicide because of my faith, but I had thoughts every day of, if I don't wake up, I don't care. Maybe I don't want to wake up. And so I'm a sleeper. That's something that I do to escape. And so either I would sleep or I would be high. And it was like, this isn't life. This isn't life. Like, I'm not living life. And that's what made me hit that point eventually. It was like, I may as well be dead because I'm not living. And I think that's what made me write that Ask Me Anything, because I was hoping I would get something out of it that would push me, you know, over the edge to just go ahead and take the strength, or do whatever it took to get the help I needed. Because the truth of the matter is, everyone is different. So for people out there listening, not everyone can do it with just faith. I was one of those people. I have strong faith. And I question God sometimes. Why aren't you fixing this? Why aren't you taking this out of me, this addiction out of me? Why aren't you swooping in and healing me? It didn't work like that for me. I had to go get outside help. I had to go to rehab. And so taking that first step to go to rehab was a major step, but that's what I had to do.
Yeah, good for you that you did do it. How did you voice that to your loved ones? Could they see what was going on, or did you suppress it? Because I was really good at suppressing it and not
Mine had got
showing
to a
it.
point, I think I was in mine much longer than you were in yours. So,
Mm.
like I said, by the time I got help, I had been in mine 10 or 11 years. So, my family definitely knew. My close family, I was very open with them about it. I'm going through this and I don't know how to get out of it. And I think they had some empathy for me, but a part of them was also like, just pray and stop. They didn't understand it. But when I finally decided to go to rehab, by that point, I had started going to NA, Narcotics Anonymous. I'm sure y'all have that over there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I had started going there, and the people there saw me struggling really hard. They saw me coming to the meetings, they saw what I was going through, and they just told me, some of us can't quit on our own. Some of us have to go and get help. And, we see that you want it. We think you need to go get help. So it was actually a couple of people there that convinced me to go, and they took me. They barely knew me. They knew me for like a week. And they took me to Dallas, which is like an hour from where we live. They took me to get the help that I needed. And so, like the day before I decided I was going, of course, I told my husband. Really, that's the only person I told, was my husband. Everybody else I told later. And by that point, of course, he didn't want me to go, but he knew I couldn't stop on my own. So he supported me 100% in going.
Look where we are today, like, do you know what I mean? So it's the best
Yeah.
decision you could have made, the right one for you. So that's the main thing, and you're in a much better place. There's a lot of stop starts, isn't there? I
Oh,
think
yeah.
and then you're like, right, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'd write a big plan out. I'd last the day, and then it'd come to the evening. I'd be like, oh, forget it. I've got it.
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. It's always
Yeah,
tomorrow.
always tomorrow. So many. When I think of the years I was doing the stop starts, putting it on tomorrow, it was years. So I think as well, when I hit my lowest point, I felt like I was either going to do permanent damage to myself,
Yes,
which could have been fatal. You just never know. But
it could be.
I'd reached that point where I was like, it's now or never. And like you said, with our faith, it was that I got to the point where I thought, even God's going to get fed up of me. Do you know what I
I
mean?
felt the exact same way.
Yeah,
He's going to get tired of my prayers.
yeah. And just be like, yeah. And it was. And then that's what the route I didn't want to go. I never wanted to take it on God. God's had my back throughout. When I look through
Hmm.
everything, God's always been there. But for some reason, something hit me. And COVID had come in, didn't it? The pandemic, we're in lockdown. It was a scary time. People died. And I thought, you know what? If I don't do it now, and I thought if I did die from COVID, whatever, I would just have regret because I didn't ever live my life. I didn't
Yeah.
ever, and it scared me thinking that. And I never wanted to have regret. And I thought, it's time to just sort myself out. It's now or never. I was worried that my son would see me, not see the real me. He was seeing
Yes.
this version of me that was just so miserable. Wasn't myself. I used to be
Yep.
such a carefree
It
person.
was like a robotic mode of yourself.
Yeah. And you never want your kids to see you as that because that's not us. And they're seeing us as this
Hmm.
different version. I thought, I never want my kid not to know the true me.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing that keeps you in guilt as well, and keeps you in it. Guilt keeps you in it longer. I will say that. Because there's that extreme amount of guilt of people on the outside who've never been through it, that says, like, lean on your faith to stop, or, um, why don't you stop for your kids?
Mm.
And when you can't do that, there's an extreme amount of guilt that comes with that. So.
because people do. I've had that so many times where people are like, why would you think like that? But people don't get it. That's
I think, in our defense, and at least let me not speak for you, for me, when I was getting into the addiction, I didn't realize I was becoming addicted. I started out, all my friends around me smoked weed, and I didn't smoke weed. And so we used to hang out every day and play cards, and they would smoke, and I would just chill. And one day, a guy, he had some hydrocodones, and he was like, "Hey, everybody want to take a hydrocodone? I have some hydrocodones," and everyone took one. That day, I became addicted and didn't know it. No one else did. So the next day, I wanted more. No one else wanted more, and of course, he got me more. They were so cheap and abundant back then. It was easy to get them. You don't realize you're addicted to something until you can't get it. And years went by before I couldn't get it. To make that clear, years went by before there was a day that I couldn't get it. And on the few days maybe that, I didn't take any or decided not to take any, I would get sick. I was going through withdrawals and didn't know it. I just thought I was coming down with bronchitis or coming down with a cold. I didn't realize these are withdrawals from what you're doing, you know. So it was 3 or 4 years into the addiction before I realized, oh my God, I'm an addict, you know. And that's hard to accept when you finally do realize it.
yeah, that is very true because it slowly creeps up on you. You think you're
It
in
creeps up on
control.
you. Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, you do. And it's only when, like you said, you don't have access to it or you go without, and then you're noticing how your body's reacting to it because then you
Mm-hmm.
do become then reliant. Because I felt like I couldn't function
You
if I didn't
can't.
have certain things in my system. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't function. And no one, I don't think anyone goes into it like, I'm gonna do this to destroy my life.
No.
You know, it happens. And I feel like a part of the reason I went through it too is because, to be 100% honest, I used to judge addicts. I'm just gonna, like I said, I work in the mental health field. And so addiction and mental health go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I could help a schizophrenic person, a person with bipolar, a person with depression, no judgment at all. But if you came to me and you had one of those diseases and addiction, I was judging you because in my head I'm thinking, stop and your life will be better. Why don't you just stop? And I didn't understand that it's not as easy as just stopping. And so I feel like I had to go through it to realize, to have empathy for people that go through it,
Yeah,
because I had
definitely.
no empathy or no sympathy. That's the thing that I learned going through rehab, going through NA. You're an addict before you even know that you're an addict. So before you even touch that drug, that addictive personality is within you. And it's shown its face, whether it's, been with shopping or eating. For me, eating could be one. But whether it's been with shopping, eating, gambling, sex, it's shown its face in some other way. You just didn't connect the dots. And then once you got a hold of that one drug that was, because I mean, I've done weed before and I didn't get addicted to it. I've done alcohol, I didn't get addicted to it. But once you get a hold of that one drug that is your kryptonite,
Mm.
you can't overcome it. One question they never answer is why you become an addict, but it answers that is in you before you know it's in you. It answers how the addictive mind works. The cycle that you go through, the endless cycle that you go through if you choose to stay in addiction and don't get help. It's like being in school. You have classes every day. You have a routine that you go by every day, and you're just learning about, like I said, just the cycle of addiction and how once we get clean, it's our choice to stay clean. But once you choose to use, you have no control. All you've given up all control. So of course the best thing to do is not relapse or not use in the first place, because once you get a hold of whatever it is that you're addicted to, you no longer have control. I don't care how much control you think you have. And so it emphasizes that, and it beats it into you over and over, to just let you know you're in a good spot right now. You don't have this drug in you right now, and you can choose to stay like this. And so they build you back up basically. It's almost like the army. My husband was in the army, and he explained during personal not personal training, but during boot camp, they tore them down and then they build them back up. And that's almost what rehab is like. That first week you're going through detox and you feel your absolute worst. That first week of rehab, you are broken. You are wondering, how the hell did I get here? How the hell did this happen? Why me? And you're just a sad little pitiful thing. And then they build you up and let you know, it's not your fault. You got a hold of something that you didn't know would do this to you. and this is how it happened, and they build you back up. And that's the only way I can explain it, is they just educate you and build you back up because you're so broken and you've torn yourself down. Not to mention if you have family members that's torn you down or friends that's torn you down, you've torn yourself down enough because you're despised at what you've done to yourself, and they build you back up and get you ready to go back out in the world. So it's an experience, and it makes you feel crazy at sometimes because you don't want to be there, but you know you need to be there. So you're fighting with yourself. I want to go home. I want to leave this place, but you know you're not ready. You know that's where you need to be. So it's an experience.
Yeah, and it's and a much needed one as well, because like you said, it is about education. It is about reassurance as well, because it's that reassurance. People that have gone through the same as well. That's what I very much needed. So when I met you, even online videos, when you read of other people's like recovery stories, you need that reassurance, because you do, when you're going through that, you feel like it's only you. You feel so alone. You
Oh
feel like
yeah.
and you feel like, is it only me that's giving in into life? I can't handle it, because you get told
Mhm.
that as well, very much, that
Mhm.
you weak yourself to even turn to that if you're feeling down. It's a very much like, this is what we'll go on to as well. Like in our community, I've got to say, in part of the Asian community, it's not spoken about. It's always like, oh, you're bad if you do this, but they don't think what's being suppressed. For someone
Mhm.
to choose this route to really have this form of escapism, they're not doing it for recreational purposes. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
some
It's
maybe,
the
but
same in the black community as well. I
I
mean,
was gonna
because
say,
addiction and alcoholism is rampant in the black community, but you don't have a lot of there's no it's rampant within our community, but there's not a lot of sympathy or empathy within the community.
yes,
It's just like those people chose that path, they're bad people.
hmm,
Let's keep it moving. But no one takes the time to figure out, how did this happen? Like you said, what was suppressed to make this happen? Why did they choose that escape? None of that is within our community.
yeah, and it's
As a
so
matter of fact, rehab is looked down upon,
I can
because you
imagine.
couldn't do it by yourself.
Yeah, and I
So,
can imagine people think, whereas it could happen to anybody.
mhm.
Nobody's exempt from going down this route
Right.
at all. People may think they're stable, they'd never choose that route, but we know of many that you think they're a stable 1 minute, and then all of a sudden you turn to that. It does. It's no one's exempt from it.
And my life story, I had a good upbringing, both parents, raised in church, educated. I'm a likable person,
Yeah.
lots of friends and family. Usually when you think of a drug addict, well, the way we were raised over here, when you think of a drug addict, you think of a creepy old nasty person under the bridge. You know, that's just smelly and nasty, and that wasn't me. I held a professional job throughout the entirety of my addiction. Good paying professional jobs. Went to church every Sunday. So I was the person that you were sitting next to on the pew. And when the pastor was preaching, saying someone's going through something right now, it was me, and you would have never had known that. I was sitting right next to you, and you would have never had known that. And I think that was another thing that was hard for me as well, living the double life, because there was that part of me that was professional me, that went to church, that worked my professional job, that tried to take the care of my family the best I could. But then there was a part of me that was like that ratchet me, that ghetto me, that after work when I was by myself, that was mingling with people that I would never be seen with in my regular life, that was mingling with people and just being scandalous, like I would steal. I would do, like I said, we have so much more to talk about. I would do crazy things to get, because my addiction was very expensive. And I would do crazy things to get what I wanted. And sometimes I tell people I feel like I've done everything but prostituted to to get what I wanted. Lied, stole, cheated, to get what I wanted. But like I said, living that double life was difficult. Sometimes there was a part of me that felt like it would be easier to be that person under the bridge than living the double life. Because if I was that person under the bridge, all I have to worry about is me. I don't have to worry about putting up this facade. I don't have to worry about taking care of my family. Unfortunately, because there was a part of me that eventually felt like my family was a burden, because I couldn't just do what I wanted to do 24/7. I had to maintain that face and take care of my family. If it was me under a bridge or homeless or roaming the streets, all I would have to worry about is me and getting high. And you get to a point where you get that selfish, where all you want to do is get high. And so living that double life was just as much of a challenge as the addiction.
totally get that. And it's true, Kiss Kiki, you could have gone down that route. You could have been that one under that bridge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. And to be honest with you, Sat, I don't know whatever kept me from completely crossing over into the abyss, like that completely kept me from losing my job or from walking away from my family, or even if I didn't walk away from disappearing, because some people go on binges and they disappear days at a time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my husband is a major part of that. I know he wouldn't have stood for that, so maybe that's what kept me in line. I don't know, but I was just a hair away from being that person that you see out there wandering around, and it's crazy.
It's crazy, but just thank you, God. Like seriously,
Yeah.
there was something in us that kept us from stepping over that mark because it could have easily been
Yes.
done. I could have easily done it. When
Yes.
I look back on it and I think how reckless I was being, the habits I was doing, my behaviors, I didn't. When I think back now to that version, I don't even recognize that person.
Right.
And I just think, and because it is, I suppressed a lot, like my personal journey. I know now, like when we look back on it, recover from it, we know where it stemmed from now, what kind of caused it. And when I look back, I think I just wasn't able to speak up about it. I was unhappy in so many areas, but rather than
Hmm.
I was so much of a people pleaser, Kiki, rather than hurting people's feelings or being assertive or speaking on my truth, letting people know, I suppressed it. I was
Hmm.
too much of a people pleaser. And then when I started getting into these habits and found my form of escapism, whereas I could still
Hmm.
function, that was it then. Like you said, I lived this double life, but I
Yep.
didn't realize is slowly, like physically, you're damaging yourself, but
Yep. And mentally, you lose yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And you
One day,
just,
and it happens. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a period of time where you look in the mirror and you don't recognize the person you're looking at.
yeah, totally. And like when we exchanged those photos of each other when we were at our peaks, it was like
Yeah.
unrecognizable. And sad times that we would put ourselves through that. And it
Yeah.
is like people are quick to say like, why would you do that? Turn to that, but you will never get it. People will never get it
Hmm.
unless they've been through it.
Yep, and it doesn't happen overnight. Like I said,
It's a
I'm sure if it
gradual.
did happen overnight, it would be a little easier to snap back from it. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, I just changed. You
Mm.
don't notice that you're changing while you're changing because
Yeah,
it's
it's
happening slowly.
very true. And where you think you're in control of it, yeah, it's just a little thing here and there. And then, like you said, it just progresses into something bigger than you could have ever imagined. And it's when at that point, you'll look back and be like, oh my gosh. You have that
Mhm.
what the heck moment where you're like, oh, I need to sort something out.
Yeah,
But just thank you, God, that we did do it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because there is, when we look how you just spoke about how low it actually went and what you've overcome. Like I said, it's a daily thing. The struggle is there all the time. Do you know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
up to ourselves to overcome it. But also, Kiki, I also think as well. So when we are on those different habits, we're kind of doing things that don't serve us any purpose. When you were then on your recovery journey, did you find that you kind of outgrown then current relationships? Because you almost, when you recover from something, you almost then have this new clarity in life. You become this whole new version of yourself that you don't
Oh,
even,
yeah.
you're getting to know because you've suppressed yourself so much. Like, I feel like I only know myself now, but for a good amount of years, I didn't know who I was.
Yeah, and I mean, I still feel like I'm learning myself, and it's been 2 years, and I still feel like I'm learning myself, and that there's things that I need to learn about myself. I
Yeah.
still haven't found a hobby that I enjoy, and I definitely need to do that. So there's
Yeah.
still things that I'm figuring out, but yeah, it's like you rediscover yourself, because you lost yourself for so long. You were out of control for so long, and your life just became a redundant cycle of find what I want, get high, find what I want, get high, and nothing else matters. I think me and you joked about it before. I would rather have a hot dog than a steak meal because it's like I can take that money and get high. Why do I want a steak meal? A hot dog's going to feed me. You don't want anything fine in life because it
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All that matters is that, getting high. And so, yeah. And then like relationships with people, there's definitely people that I had to cut out of my life that
Yeah.
I know were only there. Either I was using them, to get what I wanted, or they were there to help me get what I wanted. You definitely have to shed those people.
That's it. Because there are, and when you do look back on it, you do think a lot of it is your circle. Because it is down to ourselves.
That's what I was going to say. Some of these people can be good people. Let me make that clear. Not all of these, half of these people were not, they didn't even know that they were a part of what they were a part of. They were, in their heads, true friends to me, but they were enablers because if I come to you for money and you know that I'm in this addiction, you shouldn't give me that money. But when you love someone or you care about someone, you're going to give them what they ask for. And so, definitely, and you definitely have to shed the enablers. And like I said, sometimes it's good people that you have to separate yourself from, but it's just something that has to be done.
Yeah, definitely. And it was, and I noticed as well when I was healing and just recovering from a lot of stuff. I then, did you find as well, all of a sudden I wanted to open up to people and tell them what I'd been going through.
Yeah,
And then
because
just,
because you get to that point where there's no shame.
yes.
You know, you see it as a part of life that you lived.
Mm,
It's something that you overcame. You're proud that you overcame it,
yeah.
and you want to help others. So you want to be open about it because you hope that it reaches someone else so that you can help them or, at least be a testimony to them.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kiki. There's a few people that you express it to, and it's not well received. But
Yeah, of course.
it's just the way it is. But I know for sure, and it's almost like it's God's work. And then without sounding too deep, because we've overcome something, Kiki, where to help someone else going through it.
Hmm.
Because that's what it's all about. Because a lot of what I went through, and it does make you realize as much as like we're all in it together, like the human connection. So when I overcame this, I just thought other people must be going through it. If we're suppressing it as easy as we are, living these double lives, there must be other people. So I went out there, or I spoke about my story just to
Hmm.
open up because I'm hoping people will listen and think, okay, I'm one of those people not expressing it. You just need to be able to express it to the right person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I felt since overcoming what I have, I'm very heavily judged still for even taking that route. And now, even now, Kiki, I'll get moments where you're having a fun day. People automatically assume that you're high. Do you get a
Yeah.
lot of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do you notice sometimes like you may have more energy than a day that you don't, and it's like I don't want to look high,
Yeah,
Yeah. You feel
isn't it?
yourself being self-conscious of,
100%.
how am I acting? Because I don't want anyone to think that I'm high. I think that'll go away in time, you
Definitely.
know,
And you do
like
get
maybe
people.
years from now. But in
Yeah,
the beginning, the
definitely.
first probably few years to 5 years, there's always that self-conscious, I don't want anyone to think this. And I'm sure sometimes people do think that,
Yeah.
like, oh, she may be back on that stuff, but
And I think they do, whereas they don't get so most of the time, Kiki, it's a natural high of life when we've overcome what we've overcome. People don't get that you have this new lease of life where you
mhm.
just embrace everything. And do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Even small things like
Small
some.
things. And it's so funny that you said that. I remember one time I was riding down the street
Yeah.
and I was really like looking at the trees, like, thank God for the trees and the oxygen that they produce. Like,
Yeah,
I
see?
was so thankful for everything.
Exactly.
It was ridiculous. It was pretty cheesy and ridiculous.
So I'm still like that. But
You said I'm still like that.
yeah, I'm still like that. I'll be out in the garden sometimes and really appreciate the trees, like having a good convo with them.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's just
It's an
you take everything for
appreciation.
granted when you're within that. And so when you have a clear state of mind, you just realize all the beauty around you and everything that you blocked
Yes.
out for so long.
100%. And the value of it. Like we're here
Yes.
chasing like material gains, this and that. Whereas we have a sky full of just pure art
Yeah.
and we should appreciate it. So, Kiki, we'll keep it short and sweet this episode. I did just want to use it as a bit of an intro to my sister. And
I'm
just to
so glad
say,
we finally did this.
oh, so glad, like seriously. And I do apologize, guys. Like it is our first episode together, so it may be a bit all over the place. I hope not. I hope we did make sense. um, but Kiki is going to be around for a lot more episodes where we will touch on a lot more things. Even with her whole journey, we'll go more depth into it. But I
And
did
we'll be
just want
setting
to,
up an email too.
yeah, we're going to set up an email address as well. And the whole purpose of it is like anyone listening, like please get in touch. Like we offer a wealth of like experience, what we've been through. We just kind of want to share what we've learned along the way with others and just And to know that it's an open, safe space, it's non-judgmental, inclusive to all. Just
Hmm.
please like reach out, and if we can help in any way, we will. um,
For sure.
yeah, thanks, Kiki. And it is just to introduce Kiki and just to show her off. My friend that I'm so proud of.
Oh, thank you.
And even just what you've overcome, Kiki, and the steps you've taken, like you're 2 years here into it, and just I wish you the best with it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Thank you.
So just to finish off, Kiki, so if there's anybody that may be listening that may be feeling overwhelmed, maybe going through similar paths that we've just spoke about, what kind of key advice would you give them of just even where to start or
My advice would be one, you could reach out to us. Once we get that email set up, you can reach out to us. We care. We truly care, and we'll respond to you and be there for you and be a support to you. But also, reach out to someone in your life because there's someone that does care. I think what keeps a lot of people from getting help is that shame and feeling that you're instantly going to be judged and no one's going to understand. But a lot of times, even if someone hasn't been through what you've been through, they will show some empathy. The fact that you want to change, people respect that. You can't hold it inside forever. It'll keep you trapped. That secrecy will keep you trapped. So just reach out to someone for help. If it's addiction, reach out to your local NA or AA group. I found a lot of support in church. Uh, Surprisingly, a couple of old ladies that I went to had been through the same thing and offered me support. You can find support in church. Um, if it's depression or anything like that, there's hotlines that you can call. Reach out. That's the main thing. Just keeping it suppressed and keeping it inside keeps you locked in that mode. So reach out.
yeah, great advice. Yeah, totally agree because it's true. Reach out because you are in these situations and you do think you're alone and you think you're the only one going through these feelings and
Yes.
emotions, that you're the only one that's turned to this route, but you're really not, guys. Like it could happen to anybody, and just, yeah, reach out. And like I said, for us, we are here for you, like genuinely. There's a genuine um, need, like it's like a genuine need for us that we want to help others and
Hmm.
just offer that reassurance. It's God's work out here. We just want to help where we can. So Kiki, I just want to say just thank you so much, like seriously, for sharing a bit of your journey. Like we've got
No
loads more to
problem.
talk about it, but just thank you for touching on it and being so vulnerable and sharing that with us. Like, do you know
Of
what I mean?
course.
Because it is a big thing. Not everyone's kind of willing to do that. So I do appreciate that you've done that. And seriously, you should feel so proud of where you are now and what you've overcome and what you overcome every day. Like seriously, you're just doing an amazing job and you should feel really proud. Like I
Thank
genuinely mean
you.
that, my sis. So guys, like we said, we are going to set up this email system. So hopefully by the time the next episode is out, that we'll have it up and running and we'll announce it then. But please do look out for Kiki because she will be back again. And as much as it was kind of deep and we were a bit serious with stuff, which is a good thing. You will hear a lot more light-hearted stuff to come as
Of
well,
course.
which I'm looking forward to. Um, but that's it, guys. So, like I said, we'll talk to you soon. And thank you again, Kiki, like seriously, for doing this episode. And I can't wait for what's to come.
Thank you for having me. I love you, Sat.
Oh, I love you, Kiki, so much. And take care, guys, you beautiful people. Bye.
Bye.